Hello, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Brigida Toruño. Welcome to Uno Souls Chat. As we are all adjusting to this greatly changed societal situation, I've been called to chat with Uno Souls, and they are people that are beacons of light in our community. They were beacons of light before COVID-19, and they continue to be so. We want to connect all of us together in hope, courage, and love. Today, I am honored to be chatting with Janece Klebam, an Uno Soul, and she is the co-founder and chief experience officer of Ask Jenna. Welcome, Janece. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sheeta. Thank you for having me. I am already feeling your light, so I'm very honored to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. I want to know how you've been doing during this challenging time, but first I'd love to ask you more about Ask Jenna, and if you could please tell us what your endeavor is. And I know you have a wonderful partner, Jenny Schtipelman, who couldn't be with us today. Hopefully we can have another chat with the three of us another time. But if you could tell us a little bit about Ask Jenna, I would love to hear that.
Yes, thank you. So Ask Jenna is an experienced concierge service. And the goal is that we remove the stresses that busy professionals have to researching and planning nights out under COVID, nights in, but really trying to make it easy for people to support local business, to really enjoy what the DC region has to offer, but we take care of the planning. In addition to planning, every month for our members, we also remember important dates like birthdays and anniversaries, and again, bringing light, bringing joy to people. And I feel like, right now, our members are loving that even more, to have something to look forward to every month that they don't have to worry about. So it brings us a lot of joy and fulfillment to do that for busy folks in DC.
Oh, what a great idea. That's wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'd love to hear, when the business started. Was it right around or right before COVID? And what has happened since then?
Yeah, so actually we started officially in September of 2018.
Oh,
So
okay.
we've been a lot of learning, for the first year and a half. We tried to at least present ourselves as smart entrepreneurs instead of just rolling everything out, to try to test some of the ideas we had, and the response was wonderful. So we've been doing this, doing it for about a year and a few months before I actually left my full-time job to do this permanently, or do this full-time, in January 2020.
Oh, okay. So that's what, okay, that was right pre-COVID.
Right, pre-COVID. We're feeling great. We've got this model. We have these people who are already enjoying our services. And then, the restrictions under COVID happened. And so it forced us, like many other small businesses, to pause, and to really figure out how we can meet the challenges of people today and the challenges of people, under our current situation. And I think we've done that.
Great. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you've had to, I know this word is getting old, but pivot. How has Ask Jenna pivoted to help the members? Is it only members that can receive your services?
So the monthly services, yes, because it really does take us getting to know you, right? You get to know you, your family, your interests. So for our members, those monthly experiences are something that, again, we were doing pre-COVID. And then as this happened, we literally pressed pause on membership, and that we stopped charging our members. And it was mostly because, as we talked about ourselves, we were going to bring you out. We were going to get you out and get you acting and acting out in the community. And because we couldn't do that, we said, okay, well, if we can't keep that promise, how can we press pause for you now? But what we did is we still connected them with local businesses through our restaurants that were doing deliveries.
Okay.
So every month we would pick a couple of restaurants that would meet the the interests of the cuisine interests of our members. And we would
Mhm.
arrange for deliveries to them, which was lovely. They still had one night, but they didn't have to worry about dinner or brunch or something. And then we were also able to support local business. And at that same time, as you talk, Brigida, about businesses having to pivot, it allowed us that moment to reflect and to think, okay, how do we, truly evolve and change, the way we present ourselves to meet, again, the challenges of today. In
Mhm.
addition to our membership, though, to answer your question, we do offer experiences. We call them our Ask Jenna community experiences that are open to the general public. Our members get first access and discounted access, and then the greater community can join us. And we actually have a fun event, DC's first ever movie night on the water at Thompson Boat House next Friday. So we're doing that now in partnership with boating in DC. So we do offer those every 3 months or so, of course, as things can remain open.
So Ask Jenna organized that event. Okay.
Yes. So we handle the logistics, and we work very closely with boating in DC that operates Thompson Boat Center.
Oh,
And we're going to
how
have
fun.
a great movie night, a real way to say so long to the summer, as we officially enter into the fall season.
Yeah, and tell me again the date of that.
So it's next Friday, September 25th at 8 p.m. at Thompson Boat Center in Georgetown.
Well, this should be appearing next Thursday, the 24th. So maybe there's still a chance that some people could sign up.
Yes, if there is, that's wonderful. And, I just love for people to know what we're doing. Those are the kind of sort of unique things. It's the first time that DC's done that. So that it feels exciting to bring that to our community.
That's wonderful. And if someone's interested, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so please, you can look at us on Facebook at I Ask Jenna. You can message us there. We respond very quickly. Visit us on our website, www.iaskjenna.com. And Jenna is spelled Jenna. And of course, if I can share my email, you can certainly email me, and we're here to serve. We love, and when you talk about, bringing hope to people, we feel like we're contributing that to that as best we can.
Right. I love that. That's wonderful. And so, Janece, I'm wondering on a personal level, how has it been for you during these months of our pandemic?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. It's I think it's, I would say it's been tough. I think it's been tough, and I'm sure that's many of your listeners would feel the same way. To be completely honest, it has been. I think I've had a number of friends and family members who have had COVID, and I think that plus certainly the very public now conversations and challenges around racial injustice is all of that, and then the small businesses and seeing what's happening with other businesses in our community. All of that has made this tough. I think we're a resilient region. We've got some brilliant minds here, and so I feel very hopeful. And yet I think it's also okay to acknowledge like this is a tough time.
Exactly. That's what I say, Janece. I mean, that's what I hope, that people can feel comfortable with the Uno Souls chats to be vulnerable, because that's being authentic, when we can really say what's going on inside, because emotions are valid, and I feel you. I hear what you're saying, and it's my heart goes out to you, and really, I mean, and to all of us, because we're all going through different things. And for me, it was it's been hard as well. Some of the times, at the beginning, I was really having a hard time. I just couldn't believe this was happening, and I went through sadness and fear. Fear of getting sick.
Yes.
And so I had to do a lot. I have a lot of coping skills and a lot of tools in my toolkit that I've gotten from throughout the years of, trying to bring stress down and anxiety. And so I'm a longtime meditator. I've meditated for 28 years. And so that in itself was helpful, but I still needed something beyond that, to get through those times. And then I felt like, okay, I if I do my daily exercises in terms of meditation or qigong or eating energy medicine, I'm okay, I'm stable. And then recently I started feeling some stress and anxiety again, where it just kind of feels like, oh, when is this going to end? It doesn't seem to be ending. So there was, a little bit of fear, and again, having to work on those kinds of things of bringing my anxiety level down. So yeah, I'm sorry?
How's your family?
Oh, yeah, thank you for asking. So I live by myself. I'm divorced. And so that was an issue in itself, to be by myself. And yet, again, with the coping skills, it helps. But I have grown children, and they're married, and I have 5 grandbabies. It's the most beautiful thing. So, the first 3 months, I just saw them on Zoom or FaceTime, and that was nice. But, it's that physical touch, like the hugs, that's hard to not have that. But then finally around Mother's Day or so, I saw my daughter. We did a drive-by thing, and then by June we were hugging, and my daughter was just like, Mom, I just need to hug you. So, and then we become each other's bubble now, and my son is in North Carolina with his family. So he was like, Mom, come down and spend some time with us. So I did that in June. Yeah. So I was very grateful that I got to do that. And again, it just makes my heart happy. So it's, how about your family?
Well, it was interesting that how you talked about sort of going through those first few weeks and then being like, okay, I really need to see them. And, a lot of my family, my mother lives in Florida, my sister lives in Florida. She was able to come up for a little bit. And my father is close by, but, we're dancing, right? It's like, how do we, survive this? Truly survive this in a way that keeps us healthy and whole. And I think now, and it sounds like, as you're speaking, it's like, how do we, like, we're going to be in this for a while. I think we've now accepted that this is going to be with us. And so how do we become part of each other's bubble? How do we, continue to connect? And, I'll tell you, we're marching into the holiday season now.
That's
and right. I think about that certainly for myself and my family, and also for our members. What can we be doing to help them plan safely, responsibly? And it's time keeps marching, right?
That's right.
We're trying to fight this thing as best we can, and here we are, the middle of September, and so it's an interesting time. Well, I'm happy to hear that your family is safe and healthy, and that you're creating your pod together. That's so important. Yeah. I think when you and I first started talking, I mentioned something about we're huggers. Jenny and I are big huggers, and to not be able to do that is even with just meeting you, the natural thing for me would be to, with permission, of course, give you a big hug and welcome you. And
exactly.
Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, the day will come again, I believe. Yeah. Janece, I'm wondering, what are you most grateful for?
Oh, what a wonderful question. I'm mostly grateful that my family is doing okay. Even for those who have been directly affected by this. That everyone's really seems to be looking ahead and feeling positive. My friends the same. And I will say, we've had a couple of fun traditions that have come out of this. So every Tuesday evening, I have a family call with my dad's side of the family, and so it's my sister and my aunts and my cousins, and we've been reading books by women of color every month. So we started our own book club. But there's
Wonderful.
just this incredible energy, and we talk about light and hope and courage. Every week we have this call and we laugh. Oh my gosh, we laugh. And it starts at 8 and it ends by like 10:30, even though
Wow.
we try to keep it to an hour. But it's
Yeah,
just so full of laughter. And so, you know, that's been something that has been really meaningful.
that's wonderful. That's so important. All of that, the connection, the laughing, the reading the books. I mean, those are great things.
I've
That's
read more
wonderful.
books this year under COVID than I have in any year.
Yeah.
Every month we pick a book, and of course, supporting women of color, and
Yes.
that's been a wonderful way to just feel like we're doing something, feel like we're part of the
Right.
solution right now.
That's wonderful. That's great. So glad to hear it. Um, I was also wondering about what do you see as the new normal, and even how it applies to you personally, but for the business.
Um, the new normal. I love that. I think at one point we were like, when are we going to return to normal? It's like, will we out? What is our new normal?
Yeah.
I've had a couple of conversations with other small business owners, and we feel like that there's going to be a real return to and a real yearning for personal connection. That
Mhm.
we really, I'm sure you've heard this, over the last year and a half or 2 years, people started talking about valuing experiences over things. And I
Mhm.
think this time has put that, like, really, brought that to the forefront. Like, we miss experiences with one another. We miss personal connections. And I believe that our quote unquote new normal will sort of reflect that,
Yeah.
or reflect that in the type of businesses that evolve. Um, Certainly I hope Ask Jenna is one of them, but even in the way that we handle, our banking, or handle, other types of things that we, just sort of checked a box, we're going to be looking for, are people really caring for me? Are people,
Mhm.
really listening to me? And I think that could be an opportunity. I feel like we as a society have become more transactional. But here I am, talking with you and having what I feel is a meaningful connection. And I think people are going to be in need of that. And my hope is that our business community will be able to provide that real, sort of 360-degree care for the person,
Right.
for us. And as you were talking, Brigida, about even the things, whether or not it's yoga or meditation, as you talked about, I mean, that really is care for us, for us as individuals. And so I hope that that's, how business responds. And I hope that we also are paying better attention and taking better care and being more, showing more gratitude to ourselves.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, that's very important. And I love everything that you said. The yearning for personal connection, really resonates with me. And it's like you said, I think um, it's kind of universal. I think a universal feeling that, because I think this is when we have realized that we are one humanity, right? In this world, in this globe. And we all of a sudden were in the same situation. Um, and so I think that it was sort of a wake up call of, wow, well, do I take for granted some of my close relationships, with family, with friends, and I'm not going to do that again. I don't want to, I don't want to lose this insight, that we've gotten from these difficult moments.
Absolutely. And even as, as we've been talking, I mean, not once have we brought up, a new bag or a new outfit or a car, or, it's about, your 5 grandkids and your
Yeah.
son and your children. And, I'm talking about my aunts. And I think that I'm sensing that even in other conversations. And I think that that's really powerful. They're saying, oh, what's most important to me right now? My children, my grandchildren, my partner.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I hope that our culture will it will really embrace that. I think that that's, we lost track of that for a while. A few months ago, I was like, I got this new outfit.
Exactly.
I'm like
Look
feeling
at my new purse.
exactly. And not that those things can't have meaning and can't be wonderful to enjoy. And I think it's also, a beautiful thing that value and relationship much more.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Janece, I read something about this gentleman. He's in his 90s, and he was interviewed by a journalist, and the journalist just really wanted to get an idea from him. What has it been like? In your lifetime, you've lived through wars and maybe the Spanish flu and all these different things. What has it been like? And so the gentleman said, well, he said, I don't read headlines. He said, I have never read any headlines. And what I do is create my own headline every day. And I just love that, because, for me, like I live on the lake, and there's this blue heron that flies around, and I just love it. It's like a mini dinosaur. And so, I'm the grandmother of 4 grandsons and 1 little baby girl. Dinosaurs are very big. That's what it reminds me of. But so that would be my headline, out on a nature walk and at the lake and saw a blue heron, and that makes my heart happy. So I'd love to know, what is your headline for today?
Oh my gosh. What is my headline for today? What can I do to bring joy?
Oh, I love, 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 love that.
That's what I think. I love that word, joy.
Me too.
And I think I also love the search for it. That, what can I be doing? How can I contribute to that? And I don't get it right all the time, but I think that's the way I would answer that question. How can I bring joy today?
That's wonderful. And actually that brings me to another question that I'd love to know is, what does bring you joy? To me, joy can be just a little thing even,
Yeah.
What is something that brings you joy?
Well, so I have a couple of things. So I have been really surprised by how well my husband and I have been getting along.
Okay.
We've been in this house together for however many months.
Yeah.
And it brings me joy every day to be a part of his work experience at home, and to just be able to be with him and talk like we used to when we were just friends. So that really has brought me joy and brought me peace as well.
I love that.
And then I will also say, and this is just because I'm physically noticing it right now, I'm smiling so much in this conversation with you. And and again, talking about the value of having a meaningful connection. This conversation is bringing me joy. I appreciate so much the questions that you're asking. And of course, everyone, you didn't ask me to be prepared for this, but it's wonderful to think about, kindness and things that we're looking forward to, and not things that I've necessarily been thinking a lot for myself, I guess I should say. Right. I try so much to think about that for my members or my family, but it was nice to take a moment and think about it for myself. And so this is bringing me joy.
Good. I'm so glad. During this time, I also came up with this mantra, like in the last month. It came to me about, savoring the deliciousness. And so a lot of people go right to food, which is all good. There's definitely a lot of value to yummy food. But for me, it's also, it goes beyond joy. It could be the richness of a conversation like this. It could be smelling the flowers while you're out on a walk. Just little things like that. But So is there something, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could ask you, do you have a savoring the deliciousness moment? But you did answer it with the joy. So, I mean, you're welcome to say something more that comes to you. But again, I think you answered it beautifully with the joy.
Well, I actually have a question for you, because when you brought up, very early in our conversation about meditation,
Yeah.
that's something that I've just sort of stumbled into during this time to try to bring myself peace for a few minutes a day.
Yes.
And when you mentioned the word savor, and I feel like that is what meditation forces you to do, right? It forces you to pause and become more mindful, I guess, of things that are affecting me in my life. And so I'm curious, because I'm just starting out on this journey. I'm curious, as you think about meditation and what it's brought to you, how has that sort of affected your journey and your joy?
Yeah, I have to say that it's been life-changing for me. 28 years ago, I desperately needed a coping tool. I didn't know what coping was, and I was going through a lot of difficult moments in my life. And I found a meditation teacher back then who is still my meditation teacher
Wow.
today. And so that was a gift. I mean, I remember maybe 5 years into meditating, I used to commute into DC, and it was just all that traffic and just so stressful. And I clearly remember one day when I was sitting and I was not affected at all by the traffic. And I kind of turned around and people, looked upset, like sitting in the parking lot of traffic. And so that was like eye-opening, like, wow, things have shifted a little. And I
Yeah.
have to tell you a funny story that happened about a month ago. I met a girlfriend at a brewery, and and it was all social distance and all all that good stuff. So so we were sitting out and outside. So we were sitting, and there were some bees flying around, right? And so they they were going into my cup.
Oh gosh.
Um, so normally, this was just another one of those, like, it has to be a meditation moment. So normally I see a bee and I'm like running everywhere, and I'm like, So I was just looking at it, and I was like, ah. So I took the straw, and I was gently pushing the bee out of my cup, and it would come right back, and would come right back. And so my friend is looking at me, and I'm like, um, this bee. I mean, this is so stressful. But I said it in the gentlest voice, and I even was like, "Who was that? Who was it?" Like gently pushing a bee out of my cup and going, "This is so stressful." So and then I finally covered my cup with a paper towel, and the bees went away. So I was happy that I didn't kill it or swat it away or anything like that. So I think that's an example of what can happen after 28 years of meditating.
Yeah. And what it sounds like, and this is what I'm beginning to see, is that you just become more self-aware, I guess. And so,
Um,
you're sort of able to see yourself, like, I normally would be this way, and not, it's just this weird, I'm calling it weird now because I'm still getting into it, but it's just this weird way of sort of removing all of the crazy parts of myself and being
yeah.
able to see this different person. So I'm happy to hear that 28 years in, like, this really is. I'm feeling the effects. I actually try to sit out in the morning. We have a little pond out back,
Oh,
and I
nice.
try to sit out, and I'll do 5 minutes. I mean, I'm like, in my mind is always racing. So
And yeah, that's
I mean, like
okay. That
5 minutes,
yeah,
if I can just do 5 minutes of, so I'm trying. It's not every day, but I'm
right.
trying to do that.
That's good. That's great. Great. And don't be hard on yourself. It's called a practice for a reason, You do 1 minute today, maybe 5 tomorrow, and then the next day it's back to 2 minutes. So yeah, that's good. I'm so glad that you're looking into this. It's really
I,
good.
yeah, and it's one thing. So one thing that I learned, this actually affected me emotionally at the time. I was out back and doing my meditation, And the person who was leading it was saying, you know, take a moment to show gratitude to your body for how far it's brought you today.
Yeah.
And I, you know, got emotional with that. And I thought, golly, we never do that. You know, we never say thank you with all the flaws. And after I do that, you know, I'm doing my spin and I'm doing this and I'm running and walking on. And it's like, we never take a moment to just say, thank you, old bones, you know, thank you, old heart. And it really, you know, made me, so that is when I think I was convinced that, you know, that meditation and could be something for me. And I think, you know, going back to the Ask Jenna piece for a moment, like that, I feel like my ability to be in sort of a clearer mind and to feel like I'm a part of the good will help me bring more good, you know, to the businesses that we're seeking to support, our members that we're trying to realize how we're so interconnected and that our energy is so effective. And so, you know, trying my best to be the best person I can be for this company.
That's wonderful. I just can't wait to hear, you know, more about all the activities that Ask Jenna puts together, and we can put in the comments, we can put the link to the website so people can look into becoming a member, because I do think it's going to be a wonderful activity to have for your family or for yourself to know that, okay, this month they planned this for me. I mean, I just think it's a wonderful, creative, innovative idea. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And it's interesting, as we've onboarded new members during the under COVID, their reasons for joining us have seemed to be so much more deeper than, oh, I just, you know, want to go out. And all of our members have had wonderful reasons for joining us. And just to hear people now talking, there just feels like there's much more urgency and much more need for this. You know, people who are, again, yearning to connect. And I you know, really, and I think I've said this at times, I really want to be a solution for you know, us as professionals. And then again, also for local businesses that, you know, rise and fall with the number of people who are going to their business and eating their incredible craft that they put out. So it feels like an honor, truly, to be a part of this right now. So there were a couple weeks there where I was like, what in the world was I thinking? And now here we are, and we're, you know, we already, Jenny, my business partner, and I have met a couple of times over the last week, and we're planning for 2021.
Wonderful.
As best we can, but we're going to be in this. We're going to be here and ready. So
good. I'm so glad to hear that. And Janece, would you be able to leave us with some words of wisdom?
Gosh, words of wisdom. You know, I think I'll go back to the thought about gratitude. We are in uncertain times. We're going to be marching into, you know, uncertain times towards the end of this year in 2021. And how do we just take moments to pause and show gratitude to ourselves? You know, I had a good friend of mine tell me very early on in this process, it was actually a friend who had COVID. And I was calling her because I was having a rough day. What was I thinking? And she said, remember to guard your mind.
Ooh,
she said, you know, we're getting this list of things that guard our bodies, you know, 6 feet apart, wash your hands. She said, we must remember to guard our minds. And I've really brought that along with me. And that, you know, the guarding of the mind combined with this, you know, being able to show gratitude to ourselves, I think, you know, we'll really, if we believe that we are interconnected, that we really are, you know, going to be in this together for a while, I think that will all, you know, sort of bring us through together. So I don't know if that's words of wisdom, but it sounds good to me. I'm going to keep saying that to myself.
I love it. That's wonderful.
That it works out.
Thank you for leaving us with that. And thank you so much for chatting with me. I've really enjoyed our chat and getting to know you. And I wish you all the best. And Janece, I honor the light in you.
Thank you very much. I receive your light, Brigitte. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Uno Souls Chat. You can find us at www.unosouls.com. I would love to hear from you if you would like to chat with me. Please contact me at btaruno@unosouls.com. Have a beautiful week and see you at the next episode.